All right, this is Nate Riggs with NateRiggs.com, and I'm here with Jamie Turner at the AMA Market Research Conference. Just got off stage from a great presentation. Thanks for talking today.
Yeah.
So in your presentation, you talk a lot about the psychology of buying and what it is that motivates us as humans to buy. One of the things you mentioned was Seth Godin's lizard brain. Can you talk a little bit about how that affects our buying decisions?
Yeah, sure. There's four things that in the lizard brain that our brain kind of works on an instinctive level, and they're called the four Fs. And the first is flight. When I see a person, do I run away from them? Fight, do I fight them? Food, am I going to eat them? Or the fourth F is procreation. So the lizard brain kind of works on that level of the four Fs, and it's controlled, those impulses are controlled by our outer brain, which kind of says, you know what, calm down, take it easy, let's do this logically. So there's this kind of tug of war that's going on between the lizard brain and the more modern brain, but it's what makes us human.
And this is all largely driven by chemicals that are firing in our brain at the same time.
Yeah, chemicals that are firing in our brain as well as different parts of the brain. So the lizard brain is down in the kind of the base of the skull. It's the oldest part of our brain, and then it's surrounded by the prefrontal cortex, which is the more modern part of the brain that controls those impulses. Impulses are good, but sometimes you have to manage them, and the modern part of the brain manages those impulses.
Okay. And you also mentioned a case study on Coca-Cola that I thought was really interesting. Can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Yeah, there was a Coke versus Pepsi blind taste study that was done. They went into a room full of people, said, tell us which one you like better. It was a blind test. Came out about 50-50. Then they went back in and said, let's go in and do something where it's a non-blind taste test to the same group of people. So they went in and said, we're going to show you this is Coke, this is Pepsi. Now tell us which one you like better. This was done down at Baylor University, and they basically found that 80% of the people preferred Coke. And the reason for that is in the non-blind version, people prefer Coke because they have all the affiliations of Coke, very positive associations with Santa Claus and polar bears and Mean Joe Green and all this positive imagery that goes along with Coke. And the Pepsi imagery, while positive in some senses, doesn't go quite as deep and isn't as deeply ingrained as the Coke imagery is.
So I guess the takeaway is that creating a deep emotional connection to your brand is actually going to provide to more sales, more leads, everything.
Yep, absolutely. Creating that deep emotional connection, and the way you as marketers can create that deep emotional connection is to create some sort of emotion when you show them marketing. So if you can get somebody to laugh or to cry during your commercial or whatever it is, you can basically create a memory, a long-term memory that happens for them. Whereas if we don't have those emotions going on, the long-term memory doesn't kick in, and so it just turns into a short-term association, which isn't as productive for marketers.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This is really fascinating stuff, and
Great.
I'm glad we got to see the presentation.
Thanks a lot.
So again, Jamie Turner, and I'm Nate Riggs.